Hi everyone, I'm Rodrigo Andrade, and this is a new video of watsonx BI Business User Experience. If you saw my first video, you note a little different experience here. That's because I will introduce you to the new watsonx BI chain of thought. I will not go deeper in the technical details, but to explain a more didactic way, watsonx BI, if you select this option, will break your question in a smaller piece. You will solve piece by piece, and then will generate a final answer. If we compare with a human being, you don't prepare a cake in one shot, right? You need to go step by step of your recipe, and then you have your final result that will be your cake. So it's the same logic here. And watsonx BI with that will be able to handle much more complex questions, and all the steps will be available. So 100% transparent. You can see all the steps used by watsonx BI to generate your answer. For this video, I use a asset management data set. So let's start. Instead of static reports, we will explore how leaders can ask natural questions and have more visibility to risk understanding and then to action. So this is watsonx BI main screen. Here we have our traditional welcome message, some suggestions of questions. On the left side, you have all the history of our old conversations. And on the top, I have my key metrics carousel with all the metrics that I want to follow because are important to my whole. If I click in one of these metrics, I will have an augmented vision of this metric. I can interact with these metrics. I have suggestions of questions that I can ask specifically about these metrics, so really narrow down, or I can just close and start to ask. So let's start with a simple but fundamental question. Before talking about risk or modernization, we need to understand the scale of the environment and how assets are distributed globally. So I will ask how many assets do we have deployed in each location. So after ask the question, watsonx BI will start to show me all the reasoning steps to achieve the answer. And here we go. We have a chart. I can change the type of chart. So I can change for bar, for example. And I can see here also a natural language insights explaining the chart to me. And I can clearly see how assets are spread across locations, and North America is standing out as the largest concentration. I can also see the AI steps, and I can see the data that was used, how the question was interpreted. I can see the SQL that was used to generate this answer. So it's 100% transparent, no surprise. If you want to validate the answer, you have the possibility to click in the AI steps and see everything. Now that we understand the overall footprint, let's focus on the critical platform, DB2. How many DB2 assets are running on older or deprecated versions? Again, watsonx BI will start the reason, and here we have the answer. We can see that 235 DB2 assets are running on older or deprecated versions. This is already a strong signal of potential support and audit exposure, right? So at this point, the question naturally becomes where the risk is actually concentrated. Instead of looking asset by asset, watsonx BI aggregates this information by location if you want. So I can ask which locations concentrate the highest number of DB2 assets with combined lifecycle support and audit risks. And this will highlight which data centers combine lifecycle support and audit risks for DB2. I can see that we have a chart. We have also a natural language insight describing this chart to me. So me as a leader, I can have a really clear vision without go deeper in reports or dashboard, as I said before. I can interact with these charts if I want. And now, knowing where the risk is not enough, right? The real value comes from understand why the risk exists. So now I will ask which factors are driving the high DB2 support risk in these locations. So here is just to understand better the previous answer, right? You have a really interesting answer here. You have a table with the deployment location, software name, asset type, the replacement date, the service renew date. And you have an explanation as well. The RIDB2 support risk is location on North America data center, Europe Central Data Hub, and Asian Pacific processing core. So you have the answer, what can indicate a potential risk in this case, right? So now let's suppose that I'm done with this conversation. I can rename it with some name that means something to me in the future in case that I want to return for some reason. I will call DB2 Asset Management and I can start an entirely new conversation. Let's suppose this is a new day or a different moment. I just want to start a new conversation for some reason, right? Now, instead of focus on DB2, I just want to ask watsonx BI if it can help me on my planning here, right? So I will ask how many assets are scheduled for replacement in the next 12 months. And here you see a really straightforward answer. We have 321 assets scheduled for replacement in the next 12 months. Now, my next question is how many assets have expired OEM or third-party support? And again, a really straightforward answer, 364 assets are already in risk. Finally, let's step back and look across all software products. So I will ask across all products if we want to reduce support lifecycle and audit risks in the next 90 days, which locations should we prioritize? So this is a much more complex question, right? So this is not a simple descriptive question. So I'm asking to involve several different factors and give me some guidance here. And here you go. watsonx BI generated the visualization, but also a natural language explanation with all the assumptions that were used to generate this answer. So you can see that watsonx BI considered the replacement dates, the expired OEM or third-party support, pending audit section. So you have a clear vision of what was considered to generate this answer. And most important, you have the answer, the locations that you need to prioritize in the next days. Now, let's suppose that I want to use one of these charts. The last one that was created is related to assets with pending audit. I want to pin this chart to my carousel. I just need to click in the pin icon and it will be pinned to my carousel. If I click in this metric, I will have an augmented vision as I showed in the beginning of this video. And that's it. What you have seen here is not just BI. It's like decision support, it's intelligence. With watsonx BI, leaders can move from visibility to understanding drivers to clear actions, all using natural language and governance data. This is how asset management becomes proactive instead of reactive. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Until the next time.